Howdy, howdy. Hey there. Nemo Ashong here, founder of Enjoyment and leader of the Pioneer community. It is an absolute pleasure to be able to speak with you today. And what I want to talk about today is about bringing together a truly inclusive and empowered world. And where I want to drive this conversation is to invite you to share with me what a truly inclusive and empowered world means to you. And not even what it means to you, but like what it would look like for you. I'm really curious here as to how you would define what a truly inclusive and empowered world is. And I say this here, I'm doing this here, I'm going to share my views here, but I'm going to invite you to just write in the comment, regardless of when you watch this, just to go ahead and share that. And I'll share a little bit as to why this is important for me. So, as you may know, with Enjoyment and just myself, this is my life mission, I am on a mission to bring together a truly inclusive and empowered world. And one of the things that makes that possible for me is to look at it and build it through every single way that I interact with the world. There's actually a colleague of mine from AppNexus who really demonstrated this fully for me, and it really took to heart. We had a field day there, and she organized, it's Margaret Ellen, she organized the field day, and she came out there and she started with the objective, and she made sure that everyone was aligned on what that objective was. And I remember talking to her at the end of the event, and I said, this was just truly inspiring. This was just truly just like one of the most fun days that I've had. I spent part of my morning just prepping myself for the day and priming myself, and I go through a series of gratitude. And one of the memories that often comes back to mind is that feeling of my final field day, and actually all the field days that I had. And in talking to her, I said, Margaret Ellen, this was fantastic. How did this come across? How did you do this so well? And one of the things that she shared is that she really made sure that she went back to the objective, and that in every single element of that day fed and fueled the objective, right? So not just what were the activities that were being done, but how did we get there? What was the process and how did that align with the objective? What food did we have? What food was available, and how did that align with the objective? Where were the various areas where people could either rejuvenate themselves or to step out and just do something different? So every single part of it included a tie back to that overall objective. And I think that's from where I'm coming from. I'm bringing that into the work that I do and the way that I interact with individuals, the world, you, and I invite you to do the same. So if I'm on this mission, it's not an if, it's a thing, it's happening. So I'm on this mission to bring together a truly inclusive and empowered world, and I want to do this in a truly inclusive and empowered way. So from that standpoint, I'm going to model and lead from the front and share with you some of what's going on for me and how I'm thinking about it. And then I'm also going to give you an opportunity to share your view. Now, this is actually kind of interesting to me because in America, there's, I'm going to say something that I don't think I've said here and said publicly to a lot of people, but I'll put it out there. In America, there's a slogan that's going around with Make America Great Again. And a lot of people that are in my circles typically have an adverse reaction to that. And it's interesting, but I go with it. I'm like, look, here goes the deal. It's not a bad thing in and of itself. It's what does great again actually mean? What does it actually represent? The things that we're not aligned on what the end outcome is. I think that's like, from a slogan perspective, it makes sense, But in terms of the outcome perspective, in terms of what that actually looks like, in terms of the end vision that we're all working towards, that's not aligned, and it's causing, from my perspective, more rift than it needs to. So if I'm going to do things differently, because I challenge the status quo, that's just what I do, and I surround myself with others who do similar, and I help lead them as they're out there creating their new paths, their new possibilities for a positive change in their world, right? So if I'm out there doing this, I want to make sure that from the very beginning in everything I do, that lines up. So I'm going to share a little bit about my vision of what that looks like, and I invite you, I actually implore you, please take 2 minutes and just share, what would it look like if it was done? How would we show up in the world? How would you show up in your world? Like, and I used to say, I help people create positive change in their world. And what that could mean is, for an individual, it could mean how they show up in their relationships, how they show up in their family, how they show up in their community. Maybe it's the impact that they're making on their teams, in their organization, or maybe it's even beyond that, and it's on the world at large right now. Or thinking even further ahead and saying, what is the impact for the generations to come? What I'm most interested in is just making sure that people have that kind of power, that kind of ability to bring those possibilities out into the world. So, a truly inclusive and empowered world. What does that look like for me? I'm checking in with myself. Whenever I ask a question, I like to actually sit and answer it. Not big on someone asking a question and I just say like, oh, how's your day? Fine. It's like, how's your day? How was my day? I want to thank Brandon Atkinson for first modeling that for me. I asked him a question during my interview for AppNexus, and he just took some time to think about it. And I was like, wow, that is powerful. Like, you're a leader of this organization. You're taking some time to actually think and reflect on that. So what does that truly look like for me? Well, at the heart of it, for me, it all really boils down to one thing, which is that people feel that whatever makes them truly unique and different, and what gifts they have, are valued, and not even just appreciated, but are valued in the world by others. And when I think it doesn't get any simpler than that for me, because when I look at the idea of inclusion, it comes to me and saying, it isn't about, I could care less about skin color, and gender and all that. And look, some people are not gonna like that. It might offend some people, and I apologize to you. Know that I still love you. It's just that it's not my thing. I'm happy that it's your thing. It's all the things are necessary. There's a lot of different things that are going on with it, or there are a lot of different ways that we can look at the world, but it's not my thing. My thing is really about who are you being in the world, and how is that value being reflected and shared amongst people. And how's that being represented in the value that's coming back to you? So in my work, what I've found is that people are amazing. People are more amazing. And I can say people are amazing, and I don't even think y'all will get it. And that's okay. I've seen what that looks like. But every single person that I've come to has inspired me. I went through this process of reaching out to people who truly inspire me. I created a video. I said, hey, what's going on? I just want to let you know that you inspire me. I just thought of one person a day where that was coming to life for me. And I had a conversation. I got a chance to get coached on this, and I was like, I want to do this. I want to keep reaching out to people who inspire me, but I'm feeling bad. I'm feeling like I can't, I don't know who inspires me. And what transpired, what evolved through that conversation was realizing that literally everyone inspires me. It's who they are. I just love when people are being themselves, and everyone has this thing that really separates them, that really creates inspiration in myself and others around them. However, at certain points in our lives, we learn to just kind of hold that back. We learn to just bring that and keep that inside of us. We learn that we should be focusing on our weaknesses and the things that makes us that we're not great at. We learn that we should look to follow what we need for ourselves versus looking at what we need, what we all need together. And to me, I feel like that ends up causing all these barriers that aren't necessarily real. When I went to the Olympics in 2016, we were down in Rio de Janeiro, and it was fantastic. It was my first time ever going to the Olympics. My wife is a baller, and she goes with her friends every Olympics out there. Actually, the Winter Olympics are going on in South Korea, and we were like, maybe we should go. But for this Rio Olympics, what happened there was that we came there and we were supporting USA, and we were dressed up in USA clothes and had all the different things going on. Related to that, face paint and all that. I dressed up as Uncle Sam. There are pictures of me out there, so if you're ever interested in seeing that. But I bring up this story here because the thing that happened for me, the thing that occurred was that when we were down in Rio and being a part of the Olympics, it didn't matter where we were from in the U.S. It didn't matter what our skin tone was. It didn't matter what our education was. It didn't matter where we lived geographically in the world. All that mattered was that we were Americans in that case, right? All that matters is that we were interested in the Olympics. All that matters is that we were willing to take time out of our lives to come and celebrate some of the world's greatest athletes on the world's greatest stage, And it really, it influenced the way that I see inclusion. It influenced the way that I see how things work in the world. Because at that point, all these things that just 2 weeks before were all the different ways that we were different had literally no relevance. It was just purely a mental construct that we had there. And so when I say things and I talk about I'm not looking at the color of my skin and such, it's not that I'm trying to do things oh, I'm colorblind or whatnot. I'm just yes, it's there. There are these things there, and I think it's really important. I just want to make sure for me, I get to get back to that real moment where we're able to take a look at ourselves as larger than just what we outwardly present as. It's just not that interesting to me overall. I think that it's important, but it's not that interesting to me. And so that leads to something, right? So me sharing this with you and me taking the time to share it here live. I do live sometimes versus the video recordings, because when I do live, what I say is what I say. I can't go back. I'm not taken away. This is how I truly feel in this moment. It's not prescripted. It's not scripted. It's the truth that's coming out for me and how I'm seeing the world right now. And for me, that's truly empowering, and what has come up for me is that, generally speaking, I am someone that is willing to have some of these conversations. I'm willing to put myself out there. Deloitte was really great for me, and it helped me. It had this thing about leading from the front. And, it was my first job out of college, and it really helped shape the way that I look at leadership and what I do. And so some of the things that have occurred to me has been, I'm typically someone that is willing to have these conversations. I like getting deep. I'm not the person to go to for small talk. You want small talk? There are literally almost everyone else is willing to go there, but that's not the game that I choose to play. I like to get into it. I like to get real. I like to get deep. It's hey, welcome to my world. Let's get in there. Let's ask these questions, right? But this topic, this conversation is actually quite difficult for me to do. I prepped, I did everything here. I was all right, I'm just going to just sit down and but I'm not even walking. Think about that. Y'all have seen me on this stuff. Usually I'm walking all around Singapore and I'm just making this on the go. I'm no, I got to sit down for this one. If I got to be rooted, I got to just be here. And so what comes to mind is that look, these are difficult topics. These are difficult problems that have a lot of people with various opinions on what is right, what is wrong, what will work, what won't work, and all that. And what I'm finding is that for me, I'm if it's this difficult for me to go ahead and engage in these conversations, and I typically am fine stepping out of stepping out of the box, and now I'm playing with the idea of there is no box, just being out there. Then it likely could be even harder for other people who have really great ideas, who have really, not even ideas, but who have great motivation, who have great desire to make an impact in the world, but don't necessarily feel safe and feel empowered to make that impact. So that leads over to the second part, right? The second part around empowerment. And for me, a truly inclusive and empowered world, again, it still boils down to people being valued for their gifts, right? And sharing them out openly in the world so that we can go ahead and move forward, just continue to make forward progress. I think that's why tech is so exciting right now, because people are valued for what, the individual things that they can bring to the table. And they're let's create something together. They're not held back. They're not restricted. Instead, they're lifted up and said, hey, I don't care how old you are. I don't care what your background was beforehand. I don't care. We have something that we can create together in the world. And I need you to show up. I need you to come in here and be a leader for yourself and make something awesome happen. And so I love that mentality. That's why I thrive in that environment. And I'm looking to bring that to the world, to others, right? So from the standpoint of empowerment, there's a number of different things that come up to mind, but really coming down to the root of this here. And if you're just joining, I recommend go back to the very beginning, take a listen here, and share your thoughts. Share your thoughts on what a truly inclusive and empowered world looks like for you. For me, I'm just going to go ahead and share it right here, but I want to hear from you. I want to create something that, that we really can all get on board with, and all being like those that are ready to take action towards it. If you're just interested in just like talking about what all the problems are out there, like, I love you, but right now I don't, like, quite frankly, I don't need that. What I need are the possibility creators out there who are interested in saying, like, wait a minute, I don't like the way things are. Wait a minute, I don't like the speed in which we're making this progress. Wait a minute, I think that what other people are doing is great and dandy. However, there's another way that I feel about this here where I don't necessarily feel that I have a spot to be able to contribute. And if that's the case there, I want to hear from you as to what a truly inclusive and empowered world looks like for you. So the empowerment part, to me, comes by a number of different ways. But generally speaking, when I look at it, is that when people feel empowered, it kind of ties along to resourcefulness. When they feel empowered, whatever the circumstances are around them, they aren't there as a victim, but they're just different tools or different environments for them to create something new, right? For them to go and say, okay, I'm empowered to make a change. I'm empowered to choose the way that I want to show up in the world. I'm empowered to create a life that I want for myself, right? And so if right now things are not what I want it to be, well, I'm empowered enough to go and change it. And it's not you have to do it for me. It's not their fault that this isn't coming into my life, but like I myself have the ability and have the opportunity in any moment to change that and move myself toward that direction. In any moment to just go ahead and do that. And with that with that feeling of being able to really take charge and really be able to create something, how could you possibly like where would the competition come in? Well, and where would the negative competition, I guess, come in? Where would the blame come into? That's probably the better word of it. I think competition can be healthy when done in a way to continuously help each person rise up. I hear that sometimes, like, a hero without a villain doesn't necessarily thrive. But like the idea there of empowerment being at the root of all of it, right? Do you feel that if tomorrow AI came and made your job irrelevant, do you feel that you'll be able to step into a new role and step into what the new economy looks like? Would you be able to step in and say, okay, you know what? Apparently, machine learning, there's all these things have come about, and it's changed the way that that it made the job that I used to do no longer necessary, right? Or no longer necessary for me to create or to do. The question that comes to mind is would be, awesome. What now can I do that I wasn't able to do beforehand because I was doing this other work? How can I elevate my work? How can I 10x my results? How can I go ahead and create an exponential impact? Because now some of the things that I was doing on like the ground level has been elevated. And now when I think, oh, wow, what's coming to mind is like exponential leaders, like the leaders who were leading, being able to take a step up, the managers who were leading, being able to take a step up, the individual contributors who were leading, being able to take a step up, right? And then leaving it to like always having that space to be able to do something there. Now, a lot of people, I'm going to slow down real quick. I'm going to ask you for wherever you are, if you're watching this live, if you're coming to this later on, leave a comment right now, just like whatever comes to mind. What is and share your thoughts. Share your thoughts on what I've shared so far here. I'd love to hear about what a truly inclusive and empowered world looks like for you, but I'll also just be curious as to your thoughts here. I'm out here on a ledge. I'm standing out here on a ledge, on a path where I'm like, I don't know if what I'm saying resonates with people, or if I'm gonna just be defriended by half the people that I know. And while that's scary, it's also edgy for me. It's literally edgy, and it feels awesome. So I'm gonna ask here if there's anything I say, like, hit a like, or leave a comment, or just share this stream as it's going by, because I think I'm saying it because I think people need to hear it. I don't think people need to hear it to change anyone, but for those people who see the world this way, or for those people who are curious about exploring what the world would look like in this way, I want to make sure that they know that they're not alone. I'm an includer. truly inclusive, right? I want to make sure that they know that they're not alone. And I also want to make sure that they know that they are empowered to do something. I am here with them, and we can create this change together. We can co-create something truly awesome and truly amazing. I want to thank Matthew for being on here. Kerr, great to see you out here. Nicole, I saw you earlier. Jay, Nick, it's wonderful to have you. Tat, thank you very much for coming to join here in this conversation. I'm really open and interested in some of in whatever comes to mind for you. So all of this here, when I consistently ask myself, like, how do I bring this down? How do I boil it down? How do I make it into like one thing that I can just focus on? And it keeps coming back to that aspect of helping people discover and embrace and then leverage their unique gifts and share them in the world so that they are truly valued. So on this part here, from an inclusion standpoint, this turns out to me not to be necessarily a matter of color or gender or sexual orientation. It comes to me as firstly a place where, or at least the thing that I'm working towards, is how can we make sure that when someone chooses to bring their gifts out to the world, when someone chooses to share their strengths, their unique abilities and their natural advantages to help better the environment that they're in, that they are welcome to do so and they feel included in doing so there. I like to say, like, innovation, like, the thing about innovation doesn't work without inclusion, right? If I can't come up to you and say, hey, I see the way that we're thinking about this, and I think that it'd be really interesting to, based on my past experience, I think that, we could add X, Y, and Z to it, and it would work. And someone else can sit there and say, wow, that's wonderful. I've never thought of it that way. It actually has been like a missing piece of something that I've been working toward or that I've been thinking through. And we continue to build and go on from there. And just but to be able to have that, we need to have that inclusive space. We need to have that safe space. We have to have that place where someone doesn't just feel like, okay, maybe I'm tossing this out there, but they feel legitimately that their views are adding to the mix, and that they are going to be, those views may be embraced. They may not be acted on, but they may be embraced. And so, like, you're going to see me consistently, like talk about and bring people in to do that. I'm going to share the stories of other people that I work with, these pioneers that are out there that are leading and doing things based on possibility, inclusion, authenticity, innovation, energy, empowerment, and resourcefulness. Boom, I did it. That's my first time talking about all the PIANEER, pioneers. And sharing how they've been making amazing strides in the world and using this aspect of empowerment to bring that to life. So when I get back to it here, at the end of the day, when I'm talking about inclusion, and when the place that I'm coming from is a place where regardless of XYZ, like, I don't like how you identify yourself, how others identify you, like, regardless of all that, it all, to me, true inclusion comes down to the individual being able to be valued and to be able to live their life out fully. And that's what I focus on. I help people discover and explore those unique gifts, and I create the space and I create the environment to help them continuously move forward to bring that out into the world. That's what a truly inclusive world looks like for me. That's what a truly empowered world looks like for me. Truly empowered world that has us so that we're not saying, why don't I have this in my life? But how can I bring this more into my life? How can I help others bring this into our life? And it makes me think of a world where we're consistently moving forward. We're consistently adding up more, and not just making incremental progress, but making exponential changes. I'm finding that I really am a systemic change agent. Like, I like taking on big problems, and that's why culture works so well for me, right? Because it's not just one team or one individual. It's like, how does the organization continue to live out its values in the pursuit of being profitable, in the pursuit of fulfilling its mission, in its pursuit of changing the world in the way that it's set forth to do. So, that to me, that's not a small change. That's a systemic change. That's where I've been focusing my energies from the very beginning. And when I just keep going down to true inclusion, to be able to be truly empowered, it comes down to can each individual feel that? Can each individual feel empowered to just be themselves, to be more of themselves, and for them to feel valued and included in that? And like, okay, so now let's looking at some of the issues that we're seeing across the, I'll use the U.S. as an example, where maybe we can look at pay equity or leadership within organizations and boards. Well, that to me comes down to the fact that like the value that people have are being not being disproportionately weighted in a way that each individual or the people out there are not having it come to life in fruition. Otherwise, we would physically see a different set of circumstances coming on, right? I just want to see a world that is representative of who we all are, right? I want it to be a place where, rather than us fighting for over resources, we're working together to say, great, what's now possible for us? What can we build and what can we bring together to make this come to life? And when I look at that part about value add and value, not appreciation, it's like value exchange. I'm not sure, actually. I'll figure out the wording around that. But when I look at it and I see that all come together, like, to me, that's a world where we innovate faster, we are able to learn and change faster. We're able to keep up with the pace of technology, which is, like, let's be real, technology is speeding up faster than a lot of what we can all naturally in our day-to-day lives expect or handle. We're seeing that also. We're seeing it feels like politics are moving at a faster pace. The world is moving faster. That's not a bad thing. Like, how do you make sure that, how do you put yourself in a position where no matter what changes come up in life, you're always able to be successful? Well, that's when, to me, that comes driving off of your gifts and driving off of your skills and being able to know that you are valued for that. So that no matter what happens, if one day my job is replaced by someone or by something that can do it faster, better, and more consistently, I say, great, awesome. Now what does that, what's the new thing for me? Where can I take this now? If you're doing this, what does that open up in my life? Does that now allow me to think about space exploration in a way that I couldn't before because I was just focused on, just the day-to-day things that make human life possible? There are so many possibilities out there. And to really get there, it starts with that feeling of empowerment. So you're going to see me come out here. I'll love to. Well, actually, let me wrap things up here by asking you to share your thoughts on what a truly inclusive and empowered world looks like. And if you're not sharing your thoughts and you do have thoughts on here, think about what that means. Is that right now? Take a check on that. Do you feel empowered to share that? Do you feel that that you might be attacked for your view? Do you feel that that maybe I am not creating enough clarity around it? And if that's the case, I want to know that too. I'm dedicated to this mission, and I'm dedicated to you. And right now, I'm in a phase of just putting myself out there as I figure out the best ways to make this come to life. And going back to where I started here around aligning on this vision here, the thing about the slogan "Make America Great Again" is can we align on what great again looks like? So if I'm going to bring together a truly inclusive and empowered world, I get people asking me, they're like, well, what do you mean by truly inclusive? What does that mean to you, my friend? That's and I just shared my view there, my view on it being really coming down to individuals being valued for their gifts, right? And when that comes to life, that's where true inclusion and empowerment they both live simultaneously, right? Which is fantastic. It's amazing. That's why I choose to focus on this. And it's taken me a while. It took me a long time to come to this conclusion. It's taken me a long time to find at the root of it all, do people feel empowered? Do people feel powerful enough to make that come to life? But people ask, what do you mean by really, truly inclusive? And I can understand from that, from just the emphasis that they're using, that they have a definition in their mind as well. And I want to bring that into light. I want to put that out there. I want to see us all come explore what that means and explore how that looks like for us all. So I just encourage you to please come on by here, leave a comment, leave some thoughts, share this with a friend, share some likes. Like if you're watching this here, just hit the like button right now. Let me know that you're out there. And let's create something new together. And if you don't have a comment on this here, like that's not a problem. One of the things that I'm realizing is that as I'm going forth to create this empowered world, like we got to start out with like what's that process to empowerment, right? And one of the things that I'm realizing around a lot of these conversations around this number of different topics is that, quite frankly, I don't think we know how to talk to each other, right? We don't know how to say what's on our mind and to have it be embraced, challenged, but embraced. And I think right now we get into a place of like, oh, well, that's not how I see it. And then let me go ahead and teach you or argue with you. And let's have a great debate about what this is. And quite like, I'm just over it. This is the thing. I'm over it. If y'all are interested in having a constructive conversation to see how we can like build upon our ideas and create something together that's amazing, that actually moves us forward, then like, yeah, like I'm going to invite you to that conversation. And I know that right now it's not necessarily easy for people to do this. They may not have the words to do it. It might be really scary to say what's on your mind. It might be a place where it's like, you're like, I don't want to shake the, I don't know, there's some kind of words that people use. There's some kind of words that people use. I'm being very articulate right now. But you don't want to like shake up the hornet's nest, or whatever it is. I get you. It is the scariest thing to put yourself out there, which is why I choose to work on this. It's the scariest thing to say, I'm going to be honest with what I really want and how I really want it to come to life, right? I think those are two things. We spend a lot of time saying, what do you want? What do you want? And people are like, I don't know what I want. What are you passionate about? I don't know what I'm passionate about. What are your strengths? I don't know what my strengths are. I get it. It's hard. And you're seeing me sitting here talking to you right now after a lot of work. I've had coaches in my life for like 2-3 years, maybe longer than that. Like official coaches that I've paid out of my pocket. I've had mentors, I've had other people coach me, but I've had people in my life that have consistently raised me up. I spent a lot of time focusing on and reading what are some of the best works out there on personal development, professional development, leadership development. And what it has come to me is that like, geez, if we were all just leaders, right? If we were all just leaders in our own world, man, what would happen from that perspective, right? Yes, we would be going out into areas that we don't know. Yes, we'd be going into creating possibilities where we don't necessarily know if we'll be successful or not. But it's something where we don't have to feel a level of disempowerment. We don't have to feel that someone else didn't provide the opportunity for us, or someone else took that opportunity for us, or you're waiting for the permission to do it. No one gave me permission to make this video. No one made this. Then I don't know if you're going to hear this on video. I don't know if you're going to hear it on audio. I'm saying this in 2018. I don't know if you're hearing this in like 2099. I don't know. And I don't need to know. The thing is that like, for me, it was something I needed to get out there and I wanted to make sure it came out. I know that there are others out there like that. I know there are others out there that have a voice, that want to share what's going on and want to work toward a mission of a truly inclusive and empowered world. And I want to bring people together around that. And I need your help. I need your help to do this. And so the ask that I have of you, I'm going to ask very, very clearly here. I asked for one of two things. Firstly, if you can just leave a comment and let me know how you see what that would look like for you, I would love to learn and make sure that I'm incorporating that into what's coming up for you. The second thing, actually, I'm going to do 1B because I came up with a third. The second thing would be leave a comment or share with me, send me a private message. I just need to hear from you somewhere or another. Send me a message on what's stopping you right now? What's holding you back? What's holding you back from feeling a truly inclusive world is possible? What's holding you back from feeling empowered right now? What's holding you back from creating a possibility in your world? What's that thing that's stopping you? Or what's that place that's keeping you from really, really embracing your strengths? And let me know, because then it becomes easy. Then all I have to do is just help you and others, because you're not alone. You are not alone. I would say that one more time. You are not alone. What is that thing that's holding you back? If you let me know, then I can go ahead and help others with that, right? I'm in a place right now that I'm actually able to do this. I'm actually able to invest my time, invest my energy, invest my income, invest my experiences. I'm in the place right now where I can go ahead and do this. And I've been there. I've been in your shoes. And I want to make sure that in terms of the priorities of things that I'm working on, in terms of the ways that I choose to deliver to help each individual person become more empowered and to truly be able to share their gifts with the world. I want to know what's blocking you right now. And then we're just going to get rid of it, and we get rid of that, and then we'll just continue having fun. We'll get rid of the problems and start creating the possibilities. Okay? So 1A was share your, that's 1A. I'll just say 1, 2, 3. 1 was to share with me a comment on what a truly inclusive and empowered world looks like for you. 2, let me know of any roadblocks that are keeping you from making that comment. What's keeping you from sharing that? What's keeping you from creating a truly inclusive and empowered world in your world? And 3 is, this may not be of interest to you. This may not be your thing, and that's totally fine. Or you might be like, the way that we're heading is exactly the way that I want things to go. Let's stay on with that. If that's the case, I wanted to say how much I love you and I appreciate you, and I'm happy that you have found strength in your beliefs and convictions. Like, that is super important. I'm not trying to change any of that resolve, and I think that you're awesome for being there. What I'm asking of you is that you may know someone, I'm sure you do know someone who would welcome a conversation with me to further explore this. Maybe they like challenging the status quo. Maybe they have something around inclusion that really impacts them, or that they feel like, I want to do something. I want to accelerate. I want to add my strengths to the mix to help us on this path together. I want to look at inclusion from a holistic perspective, or from a deep perspective. There are people that are working on it on various identifiers, and that's really wonderful. I want to keep going down even deeper. For me, that deeper part is the authenticity and strengths and gifts and values, and being valued for all that stuff. Like, that's my deeper work that I choose to do, but I know that I'm serving a larger cause of inclusion and empowerment. So if you know someone like that, nope, wrong question. Who do you know? Who do you know that would benefit from having a conversation with me? Who do you know who in having a conversation with me, or in just even sharing this video with them directly and tagging them in this video right now, it could change the course of their lives and the course of others out there, right? Like, who do you know that would run up and raise a hand and say, yes, this is me. I'm really interested in doing something. I may not even know how to get it done, but this is like, you're saying something that resonates so truly with me. I want to know who you know, and I would love for you to put us in contact. Just connect us, and we'll take it on from there. I will take on the ownership of helping to create something amazing from that. And it doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to align. It doesn't necessarily mean that anything's going to be created that one time as it comes to life. But what it could mean is that something changes fundamentally for me, fundamentally for them, or fundamentally for you, or for the rest of the world, right? And I'm open to that possibility. I want to play with that possibility. So I'm asking you for your help here. Leave a comment as to what you believe a truly inclusive and empowered world would look like. Let me know what your roadblocks are, or the challenges, or the things that are keeping you from being able to express that, or being able to take action on what that view looks like for you, or anything else that's really holding you back from any possibility that you're looking to create, right? Because that's the aspect of empowerment, right? How can I help serve you? How can I help empower you today? And what's keeping you from moving forward there? And then thirdly, who do you know that really should be a partner in this here, who really I should work with to co-create something, who I can work with to really bring something amazing out into the world? I am on fire right now. I did not expect to come out here and just talk to this extent here, but gosh darn it, gee willikers, by golly, I'm on fire. This is what I'm about. And what I don't want you to know about me is that right now I currently feel alone. I know I'm not alone, but I currently feel alone. I'm actively looking for that peer group of people who are big and have big goals and are willing to put some things on the line to make that come to life. And so this is probably why I am so passionate about it, and why I'm consistently putting my views of what I see out in the world out there, because I'm looking for my people. I am looking for those people that this would truly impact. I'm looking for those people who are willing to get in here and co-create something together, because right now, like, leadership is lonely. And I know that, and I know that I am not alone. So I'm putting this out there as a beacon, as a call to anyone that's out there that is interested in making something happen, and like giving us an opportunity to build this together. I had a lovely conversation with someone who is interested in looking at gender equality, and I'm telling you this, the way that I felt just meeting a peer who is gone beyond just like, hey, I'm thinking that something should be done, to I'm thinking that I should do something, and really engaging in that conversation and getting clarity as to what does that look like for you? What does that, like, how does that manifest itself in the world? What are your strengths? How would you go about doing that? What is your strategy? I ask all these questions. It's coming out really rapidly. It's not really that intense, but it is that impactful, right? Because we leave these conversations moving forward. We leave these conversations with a step closer to creating something new in the world. We leave these conversations with a step closer toward clarity. And some people will find that they want to create their own thing. Others might come out and say, oh, there's actually something that's already happening in this world. I want to join. I want to add my efforts to it. But I'm afraid that if I move from my great job in finance, I'm not going to be able to sustain the lifestyle that I want by working on these kinds of issues. You know, if that's the case, I get it. You know, and so let's talk. You are not alone in these thoughts here. This to me comes down to the most important thing that we can do, which is that you are an individual who has gifts. You have a passion towards something. You have you've stepped further along the curve, the commitment curve to making a change than others have, because you're actually engaging in seeing how could this come to life for you. I love to engage in a conversation with you. I love to create different workshops for you and to make these things come to life. And I think that in helping you, I'll be able to help all the other people that are on their way to get into where you are, right? In helping you, we're able to create that bridge and start truly creating and bringing together a truly inclusive and empowered world. I'm not afraid of that. And I was afraid, I'll be honest. I'm not like, you're hearing me talk with conviction and commitment and resolve. But I'll let you know, I have been terrified to put this out there. I've been like, who are my people? What am I trying to do? What's going on here? How am I going to make this impact? I have this wonderful opportunity to be an entrepreneur right now. Like, do I just work on this? Do I work on a small little thing here, or do I try and take on something that is really, really meaningful to me? And who am I to do that? I'm just this guy that grew up in Pennsauken, New Jersey, who came from parents that immigrated from Ghana, West Africa, and had created, my parents woke up at 4:30 in the morning every day, to go and do the work that they did. Like, who am I to go out here and now say, like, great, let's 10x that. Let's get even more exponential results. Then the question that comes to mind is, who am I not to? I've had this wonderful experience of being born in Pennsauken, New Jersey, where I was already just immediately surrounded by diversity. I was immediately surrounded by people of all different ethnicities. I was given the opportunity to get into classes where, I was the minority in that case, and by a lot. And given an opportunity to thrive in those environments, given an opportunity to either come and say, I was held from this opportunity because I'm a black man, or I was given this opportunity because I'm a black kid, or say like, wow, my name is Niyama. That's why I grew up in Pennsauken. My name is Niyama, and apparently certain things that I'm doing are working, and I am awesome in that regard. And that there, it just makes me realize that all of those past experiences have brought me to this moment, and they've made me into this. And now I get to share this gift with each of you, right? I get to share what I do. I get to share this passion, this conviction with each and every one of you. And I get to take it a step further because I truly believe in connecting, developing, and empowering people. So I'm going to do that. We're going to step up here. And this may not be for everyone. This may not be. I know it's not for everyone. It's not the thing. This is for those leaders out there that are looking to change something. That are looking to make something fully and completely amazing in their world. And look, I'm happy to talk for long time. I don't know what the average Facebook Live video is. I don't care, right? Because for me, the people who really get this, the people who are really ready to make this change, they're going to watch, or they're going to know within like 30 seconds that, yes, boom, I need to go ahead and talk to Nemo. I need to set something up. Send me a private message on Facebook. Send me a message on LinkedIn. Email me, nemo@enjoyment.com. Like, I'll give you my number if you want. Like, this is like, don't hold back. And if you know someone else that is out there, maybe right now they're working on solutions to help refugees be able to do different things out in the world, or they're looking at how we can come together from a standpoint of taking on some big challenges. You know, you'll hear me talk about this a lot, but like, I don't like vilifying anyone, right? And that's probably why part of the reason why I keep going down deep. And one of the things that come up to me is like, how can we all be on this mission together, right? How can it be about just the human race? And I know that like some people are like, no, we've done that, we can't be colorblind and all that stuff. I'm like, but like, that's the stuff that still like interests me. You know, how do we make it so that like, regardless of what gender you were born as and what race you happen to be, you're not considered the problem, right? You're not considered like, and I guess like, and together we're all able to come together, right? We're all able to work on these things together, I guess. And I'll just be upfront because it makes me uncomfortable to say it, but like, what's coming to mind is like, man, I really want to make sure that we're able to do this in a way that doesn't alienate white men, because like the system has been set up in a way where, I don't know, I just don't want to alienate white men in this process here. For me, true inclusion includes everyone, and it's harder than it looks. It's beyond, at least for me, there's just one way that it looks. It looks like inclusion. It looks like you don't have to think about it. It looks like you're not like, that doesn't feel right, you know, or something's off, or let me count how many women are up here, or how many black people, or how many people of color, or how what everyone's orientation is. It doesn't look like that, right? Because true inclusion in that state, it just feels right. You're able to look at it and go. But what it doesn't, like, the reason that I say true inclusion here is that, like, I think a lot of times, and look, again, for me, this is how I've decided to look at things, and I welcome a conversation on this. And the people that I've been talking to, they've been challenging me. They've been helping me expand my point of view on all this here. They've been helping me see this here. But I want to make sure we're not playing a game of exclusionary inclusion, which is like, I'll take care of my stuff, you take care of your stuff, and then at the end of the day, hopefully, may the best person win. You know. And, you know, I don't want to boil the ocean, so I'm just going to work on my own thing, right? So in an effort of saying, like, the problem's too big, the problem's too hard, so I'm just going to work on myself, you know, and work on it from that perspective. And yeah, I would agree. The problem is really, really difficult if we stay up here at the surface, you know? If you, my coach talks to me, he's Chris Joseph. He's done some. He helps me focus on the deep work that I do, and it's the reason why I'm out here making this video, because I was like all caught in all these like tactical things, and he consistently holds me accountable to who I am and how powerful I am. And we talk a lot about the idea of a lake versus a well, and what comes to mind here is like the idea of if you're working on the surface of things, there's so much to address, but when you're able to go deep, it's just much more concentrated, and by working on the deep stuff, you're able to get the ripple effects that go on from there. You know, I believe that if you change your perspective, you change your actions. If you change your thinking, you change the way that you see the world, you change the way you interact with the world. If you change the way that you see the world, you change the way that you interact with the world. It comes down to your actions, right? And so I want to make sure that, like, for those of you who want to see the world in the way that's similar to mine, or have your own point of view of seeing that, I want to help you flourish that. I want to help you bring that out to life, and I want to create and continue leading this community of change agents, this community of pioneers who are possibility, inclusion, authenticity, energy, empowerment, and resourcefulness driven, right? There it is. Second time I put it out there. So y'all are seeing some great things here. I'm going to end this here with my call to action one more time. It's more than a call to action. It's a request. It's a heartfelt request to help me move forward on my mission, to help us come together and make this mission come to life. Because I really do see this world where, like, the thing is that it just doesn't look like it does right now. It's a world where, rather than us having to come from a place of scarcity, we're moving in a world of abundance where, we all feel completely empowered in who we are and what we offer to the world, such that no matter how the world changes, we have our spot, we have a place to be. This is important to me. And I invite you to help make this a reality. You can do that by sharing your views on what would make a truly inclusive and empowered world. What that would look like, not the actions that will get us there, but what it looks like. Because if we don't know where we're heading, then how can we possibly get there, right? So I want to hear about the possibility that you'd like to see in the world when it looks like a truly inclusive and empowered world. And if you're not about being a truly inclusive and empowered world, that's fine too. Let me know what you would like the world to look like for the next generation before you die. Like what you would want to leave the world like, and what you want that to look like. I'm really curious as to, and I'm moving forward with my vision at this time, but I know that I have the power and the capacity and the skill set to include far more people and their visions into it as well, in a way that we can truly come together and embrace the technology, embrace the changes that are happening, and actually ride that wave to whatever comes next for us. So 1, share your comments. 2, share a reason why it's uncomfortable for you to share your comments. Share a reason why you feel that you're not empowered, or that we aren't moving toward inclusion in the way that you would like to see it. And if you may not feel comfortable leaving a comment directly below, that's fine. Send me a message on Facebook. Send me an email at nemo@enjoyment.com. Find me on the street and say hello. And let's talk. I regularly carve out hours at a time to work with people who are creating new possibilities in the world. I want to say fortunate, but but the luck and the preparation has come together. I've created that, I've decided that that's where I'm going to be at. And I want to invite you with the third ask here. My heartfelt plea is that if you know someone else that would gain something from either this video, or who aligns with even just one thing that I said and would love to have a conversation with me, or would love to get more clarity as to how they'd like to bring it out to life, I not even want to, I need to talk to that person. I can't not talk to that person, because their way of seeing the world is valued. Their way is there's something really important about it. And I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make that happen, to make that possible for people. I'm willing to do the work. I need your help to get in touch with them, and I'm okay with just asking directly for that assistance, because I'm leading this community right now, and quite frankly, we need. I want to be surrounded by people who are out there creating positive change in their world. That is just booyah awesome for me. So I'm going to leave that here. The 3 things: leave a comment or send me a message with what you believe a truly inclusive and empowered world would look like. Send me a message or an email, or leave a comment on what are some of the roadblocks that you feel are keeping you from feeling empowered right now. What are some of the roadblocks that are keeping you from acting on a vision that you have? Or what are the roadblocks that are keeping you from even just sharing your thoughts on inclusion, or on empowerment, and on giving your gifts to the world and sharing them with the world? And then the third one is, who do you know that would truly benefit from engaging in a conversation with me, from engaging in a dialogue, and let's even go as far as co-creating something with me and others to really help them move forward on their mission. This is not a game for me. It's the game. It's the game, and I'm looking for as many players as possible, because, quite frankly, that's how we're doing it, from start to finish, bringing together a truly inclusive and empowered world. I think you are fantastic. I think you are amazing. I appreciate you watching even just 1 second of this here. I appreciate you sharing this with your friends, your family, with people on Facebook, with people you really believe need to hear this. Sharing this on LinkedIn, sharing this wherever you come. I appreciate you engaging with me on this here, because quite frankly, leadership is lonely, but you don't need to do it alone. And I am looking for those leaders out there that are working toward this, and we're coming together. We're bringing them together right now. Oh, this is like literally forming. I'm like, this is what I've been working toward. We're bringing them together right now, and we're creating something awesome. You are not alone. You are not alone. I appreciate you so much, and I'm looking forward to what we create together. Choose possibilities over problems. I'll see you soon. Okay, I'm trying to hit the finish button and it's not finishing.